Hi Chris, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm really glad you could take the time to come in.
Thanks, Jaimee. It's nice to meet you finally.
Yes, it is. And how's your week been?
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. It's been pretty hot, I must admit. My family and I, we've had to isolate at home for COVID. I've had COVID, so it's been a bit of a stressful week. And it's been nice and hot outside, so I don't mind being cooped up inside.
Oh, true. I hope you've got air conditioning.
Oh, we sure do. And it's been getting a good workout, I can assure you.
Oh, good. No, there's nothing worse than being sick and hot at the same time, is there?
No, that's right. How about yourself? How's you going?
Yeah, we've been a bit the same. We've been, just dodging the COVID bullets. So, yeah, but had a nice new year.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, Chris, what's brought you in to see me today?
To be honest, I'm struggling a little bit. New year, new resolutions and things like that. I thought it was about time to have a little bit more of a think about my whole work-life balance.
Yeah.
It's been one of those things where, when I'm at work, it's great. I'm reasonably productive, but I'm just not. I'm still thinking about things from home. Still thinking about the things that I've got left to do at home, and when I'm at home having dinner with the kids or bath times or anything like that. I'm still thinking about, I've got all those things to do at work, and so I'm not really, there's no real clear line in the sand between home and work, and so the two are getting really blurred, and it makes it even harder, having to be at home, quarantining, working from home. The office is at home now. It's not like I can go somewhere and, have that differentiation.
Yeah.
So it's all just, it's blurring into one, I'm finding at the moment.
Yeah, Chris, I can really see by your body language and just with your voice tone of how upsetting and concerning this is for you. So what I'm hearing is that you're really struggling with finding that balance between work and life, and as you say, not having that definitive place of work where you can leave home and draw that line in the sand is making it even harder. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's all one big ball, and there's so many, there's lots of balls, I guess you can say, and they're all in the air.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to make sure that you don't let any of them drop. And when you're in such a, COVID environment, I guess you could say, it just makes it even harder.
Yeah. So, Chris, I think you're not alone. I believe there are a lot of Australian families out there in the exact same position as you, feeling the same weight on their shoulders as well. So just know within yourself, this isn't a you thing. This is a much broader and much bigger problem than that. And it is something that perhaps we can find a few strategies to help. What has anything worked for you in the past, like last year? What's worked for you when you've had all these balls up in the air? What's helped you keep them in line, so to speak?
Yeah, there's been a few things, I guess. First one would have to be definitely routine. My wife and I do work really well with routines, and I find that even the kids, because we've got a 1 and a 3-year-old, they both work really well with routines as well. If they know what they've got next, they work really. They know what they're in for. The other thing is writing things down. I find at work, if I have my productive weeks at work are when I've got a really defined list of things that I need, goals and whatnot, to-do list.
Yeah.
And when I keep that up, I find that I can prioritise, I can tick things off, and it's a very productive week. So that's something. And the other thing is even just we used to have a cleaning lady to do the cleaning at home. But being on one wage, it's meant that we've had to trim back a few things, and unfortunately that was one of the things that got trimmed back, so it was just extra load to come back on our plates.
Yes.
So we need to make sure that we get all that cleaning done ourselves now. But previously that was great. Every 2 weeks she came in, she'd do all the mopping, do all those things that you don't really do, day in, day out.
Yeah.
And that really helped a lot.
Oh, fantastic. So perhaps maybe you could go home and you could have a chat with your wife about all these different jobs that you've got to do, and really divide them between each other and make that routine of when they're going to happen. Do you think that would help?
Yeah. I know my wife suggested having a cleaning roster. So on certain days you've got certain jobs that you want to tick off.
Yep.
So one day it might be the bathrooms, the next day it might be the kids' toy area. just a few things like that. So I think that's actually a really great suggestion.
Yeah, and you also mentioned about the lists and keeping the lists. So how do you manage your lists at the moment?
So I've got, my wife and I have a few different lists. We've got a shopping list, we've got a to-do list, you know, a whole pile of other lists. They're all on my phone, they're shared lists, which are really good. And then I've also got in the same app, I've also got my work list. So I've got one big work list that's got all of my projects at work in it. And it just makes it easy for me to be able to see what I've got on and be able to prioritise things that way. But I must admit, I'm not the best at keeping up with it.
Yeah, okay. All right, so maybe a goal for this year is just to keep on top of those lists, to make sure that you're not taking you know, that mental load to bed with you at night. You're also not taking the household mental load to work with you. So you can kind of create a little bit of a line in the sand. But honestly, Chris, I think with that line in the sand, it's going to be hard to draw it. So I think it's going to be a more self-inflicted, and you're going to have to really try really hard to put your different hats on. You know, go, okay, I'm at home, but I'm at work, in work mode now. I'm going to need to put my work hat on. And when I'm at home, I need to take my work hat off and put that to the side. So I really like the fact that you've got your separate lists so that you're not combining the two, and again, sort of blurring that line between the sand. So I really like the way that you're doing that. I think that's excellent.
Yeah, okay. Do you think it would help if maybe, if something pops in my head when I'm at work about something I've got to do at home, just quickly write it on the home list?
Absolutely.
And then that way it's out of my head, but then don't think about it anymore, just leave it there, it's dealt with.
Absolutely. And that can be really handy just to free up that mental load. Yeah, I think that's really clever.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, that's really helpful.
Yeah, so Chris, you've come to me today with the work-life balance problem, where you just felt like during these COVID times, the line has been a little bit blurred. And we've talked about a few strategies moving forward. Some of those include going home and dividing up some of the chores between you and your wife. Also, you know, keeping those lists and continuing writing the lists, not getting too stuck on them, which I know easier said than done. Is there anything else that you'd like to have a chat with about today? Is there any other concerns or worries, or any other areas where I can be of assistance?
Not really. I mean, that's sort of the biggest thing that I know I'm struggling with at the moment. Is just the whole blurred line. There's so many balls in the air that I'm just worried that I'm going to drop one of them, and you know, I don't like missing deadlines. I don't like falling short on the home front or anything like that. So yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing for me.
And do you feel like moving forward, these little strategies that we've spoken about will help you for the next week? And
I certainly do.
And we can come back next week and have a chat further about possibly some other strategies that we could implement to help you further.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be really great.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking the time today.
Oh, no worries. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it, Chris.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.